think I don't have to stand. First and foremost, congratulations for everything you've done. My question is, it's just something I noted, that your kids are doing exceptionally very well in school. And you also mentioned that you used to interact a lot with the school and their homework and their education. Can you tell us slightly more? Did you influence them to be in a pilot, or what decisions did you make in terms of their education, and what advice can you give us young parents who admire what you've done?
Thank you, Samrak. I think that's a very important question. And there's something I said when I was speaking, when I said, there's a way we grew up, all of us, before we came here. And you could tell the people who made a difference those days when you were growing up. You could tell, like during my time, I remember when you were finishing school and college, I remember the careers that really made a difference at the time. Then I came to this country, and when I noticed the education of my children was not going the right way, I realized I have to remove these kids from here. That was number one. Making that decision of being in control of the children's education. It has to start with the parent. If the school is not doing what is right by these kids, it doesn't matter who you are or where you live or what you do or the kind of money you're making. There's a big mistake that is happening, because you're going to reap when you get older. You have to sacrifice and make sure that the kids get what they need first. Because again, it's for how long? During the first 18 years, like my mother said. So the first thing I identified was a school. I realized my kids are not going to have a future in that school. I removed them from there. I took them to a private school. Then, through some magical experiences, I started attracting students from Kenya who did not have papers, who would go to colleges like Georgia Tech, Emory, and UGA and certain universities. They would not be able to register to finish school because they needed somebody who would sponsor them and make sure that that part of their paperwork was actually done. So I attracted a lot of those people, and I never turned a blind eye on any of them. So I would give them my bank statements. I remember there's a guy who went to Canada and came back in, and he came back in and he did his immigration thing, and he got back to school and he finished. And right now he's a nuclear scientist somewhere. I don't remember where that is. So I used those guys, and I told them, look, whatever it is you guys are doing, I want you guys to mentor my children. So there was a guy who was actually doing some medical program at Emory University who told me, no, you know what? Let your children come. I'll walk them around the institution and just see what is happening in here. And I took the guy who was doing sciences, the medical guy, I took him to Emory. He had a full day of attention. And by the time he ended up that day, he came home. He was in the 9th grade. He told me, Dad, I made a choice. I made my decision. I'm going to become an anesthesiologist when I finish. This is what I want to do. And true to his word, 9th grade came, 12th grade came and went. He got into college. He finished his undergrad. He got another degree within 2 years, still in the biomedical sciences, and he ended up getting into that career choice. And he planned himself. He told me, that's a school I want to go to. And he has never looked back. In fact, at some point during his training period, he came to Harvard. He did a few months there, all on his own. You know, all I would do was facilitate and make sure he gets whatever he needs. The guy was doing piloting. I introduced him to a parent who was a pilot at Delta Airlines, and he went with that man to the plane. They went through their simulators and everything. And from that day, Daniel has never changed anything. Even when he went to college, he did mechatronic engineering. This guy's an engineer, but he still wants to fly. I told him, you know, finish 5 years at university, and then he got into the Marines. He said, I'm going to teach myself this thing. So he got into the Marines, and then he actually was the only black who qualified to get into that program with a contract to become a pilot. They don't normally get that. The only people who are guaranteed are doctors and lawyers. But him, he got it before he even joined the Marines. And he has not disappointed. So it's you making sure that they see those. And right now, things are so diverse. There are so many career choices we don't know of that were not existent before. So you open up those opportunities, you let them see, and you walk them through that, and you let them be. So that's what I did. And fortunately, they listened. I know it's hard. Sometimes kids might not hear what you're saying, but they can see the effort. Even if they can't fit up there, they can come and fit somewhere else where, you know, they'll find themselves moving on to. And I thank God for them. Those are the people who are making me go back home a happy man, because I think what I came to do in America has already been done. I can go back home and do whatever I'm doing out there. Thanks.
So Pastor Mlongesha is here, is going to conduct us in a session of giving. We are going to give an offering.